What's up, everyone? We have a lot to talk about today. To start off, Walmart and other retail stocks exploded to the upside, but as we look further at the market's movement today, it was all over the place. We can see intraday, we just saw the stock market crash down as news came out that it appears that Russian missiles landed in Poland and killed at least 2 people. In this video, we're going to talk about this breaking news, the important things you need to know going into tomorrow and the rest of the week. And at the end of today's video, we have a $2.3 million trade that is actually very exciting. So make sure to stick with us. We have a lot of great things and a lot of important things to cover. But Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, the market was very crazy today. Like you said, early on, Walmart actually did very well on earnings and they had a great outlook. And we saw the stock really blast to the upside. It ended up closing up 6.5%. But then the S&P 500 started really pulling back in the middle of the day with that really bad Russia news. And I noticed we were straddling right around $399 to $400 pretty much all morning, which was a huge level in my eyes. And we finally blasted below it with that Russian news. And then we came back up, retested $399.50, and now we're just kind of straddling right here to close the day. I will say, Mike, it's not looking too good heading into tomorrow. This news with Russia really did catch the market off, off guard, caught it by surprise. We did see a big sell-off, and the heat map was actually pretty good despite the market falling. And I will say, even though the market fell, we are actually still green on the day, 0.85%. You can see yesterday we closed all the way down right around like 395.25. So we still have a long way to go back to the downside if we do fall. But I will say $400 seems like a huge level here, Mike. And I cannot wait to see what happens with Target earnings, Lowe's, and then even Nvidia tomorrow. I think that could rock the markets even more, just like Walmart did this morning.
Exactly. So in terms of earnings and volatility going forward, there is definitely a lot that we will see tomorrow and just throughout the rest of the week. Just like you said, tomorrow we definitely have Nvidia, Target, Lowe's, and stocks like that, which will definitely be crazy. But we have to talk more about this Russia news. At the time of this recording, we're going to be talking about all the public knowledge. Of course, this information can change by the minute. Not everything is known about this situation, but what we know so far is that Russian missiles landed in Polish territory today, killed at least 2 people as well, and everyone is just kind of awaiting what Poland's and just NATO's response will be. Keep in mind that Poland is a member of NATO and Polish territory was struck by a Russian missile. That is not a good headline. That's not a good thing at all. So really, like, everyone is just waiting to see, one, did Russia send this missile? And if they did, what is Poland going to do about it? So this is like huge news. And there's a lot of uncertainties.
Yeah, and it sounds like Russia is actually denying it, Mike. So it's kind of getting crazy out there as far as this situation goes. And like you said, it's hard to exactly tell right now. So kind of take everything you're seeing with a grain of salt, because Russia is totally denying that the missiles struck in Polish territory. And then on the other hand, we have CNBC and U.S. officials saying that they did strike, obviously. So I don't know, Mike. This is obviously a very strange situation. It was kind of like a black swan event that happened today, and we don't really know going forward, I think, what will happen. But what is interesting, Mike, is I think that there might be some revelations in some stocks here that might do well, obviously, if Russia keeps having issues. One of them is going to be WEAT, Mike. I feel like those wheat prices might start to get hit from this, and who knows, maybe even crude oil might end up popping up. I will say, looking at that 5-minute chart, it got quite the explosion in the morning as this news started coming out.
Absolutely. So like I remember looking at the S&P 500 and just the market overall as the news came out, and it just started sinking in a very rapid way. But at the same time, Tom, just like you said, there are some stocks that will actually benefit from this, just like the ones you said. But even if you look at companies like Lockheed Martin, which is LMT, or even RTX, both of those stocks actually popped to the upside when the news came out. So going forward, keep an eye on, the defense stocks like LMT and RTX, but also keep a very close eye on WEAT, which is wheat, and then crude oil and just oil stocks in general, because they can definitely move up if this situation escalates. It's kind of like a scary situation because there's so many unknowns. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone was expecting NATO territory to be hit by a Russian missile, and at the same time, was this like a legit, just like, I guess you could say, like missed target? Like, I don't think, like, from the information we have right now, it doesn't seem like Russia deliberately tried to get that missile into Polish territory, because if they did, I doubt they would have done more damage than just like hitting like a field in the middle of nowhere in Poland.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't really do too much damage, Mike. Like you said, only 2 people were dead, and that is very unfortunate. I feel very strongly for the people's families, obviously. That's a very bad situation. But obviously, like you said, it could have been much worse if they were actually targeting something big. Like, imagine if this would have hit like a big apartment building or something like that. So at least it wasn't anything overly negative, but obviously it is bad news. And the good thing is that Russia's denying it, at least. So maybe it'll come out that maybe this was just a false flag. Maybe this was one of Ukraine's missiles. There's all types of outliers. So just keep that in your mind. I will say though, Mike, it came at a really bad time, didn't it? The S&P 500 has been on actually a pretty good uptrend over the past few weeks. We got that really good CPI reading coming out, and now we have this bad Russia news. It just keeps piling on, doesn't it?
True that. Yeah, the war news is super crazy and whack, so just keep that in mind. But looking forward into tomorrow, one play that I'm really watching is TLT. I've been talking about TLT for weeks now at a minimum, and I've been wanting it to pop up, and it's starting to pop up, so that's awesome to see. Basically, TLT is having a pretty good day, and it's been doing pretty well over like the past week or so. Ideally, I want to see this one continue to pop up. Lately, we've actually seen a smart money trade put around just under $4 million into a call debit spread on this one. So I'm looking for TLT to continue its uptrend. So I just want to share that with everyone.
Yeah, and that would be really huge, Mike. Every single day, it seems like this stock is inching closer and closer to being profitable on that big money play. And that was a lot of money thrown into that, Mike. 3.96 million into that 103-113 call debit spread there for January 20th of 2023. And I did kind of draw out that range down here so everybody can see kind of where the stock needs to go. But yeah, TLT is a big one, Mike. And I was really happy to see TLT still moving up towards the end of the day, even as that bad news kind of came in with the market. So I thought that was at least nice to see. But one stock that I'm watching is actually going to be to the downside. And I know a lot of people are going to hate on me for this one. So, hey, if you guys love Tesla, let me know in the comments. I love Tesla too. But in the short term, Tesla bounced off of a very, very key resistance today, right around $200 even. This is a huge level. Tesla's bounced off of this a few times over the past few weeks, and I'm going to really look for a possible pushback down. Now, there's a couple reasons for this. Obviously, we have the bad Russia news today. Elon's been selling shares. Plus, that's just such a huge level there at $200. And I've seen people saying that obviously Twitter is going to take a lot of Elon's focus off of Tesla, which personally, I still think he's going to try very hard with Tesla. But that is obviously one fear in investors' minds. So with that big bounce at 200, I will be looking for a play to the downside on this one, maybe below 192 tomorrow. And there's even a stock that inverses Tesla, TSLQ. For anybody who's interested, this could end up going up in a pretty big way if Tesla falls. But I know a lot of people just like to stick with Tesla puts anyways.
For sure. So I have a question on this one. So Tom, let's say hypothetically Tesla were to just blast through like that $200 resistance level, and then like the SPY was flying up as well. Would you consider maybe Tesla in a bullish way for the short term, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely consider it in a bullish way. But I will say, just considering all the stocks that we've been seeing over the past few days that have been moving up in a pretty good way, I feel like Tesla has been a little bit lagging, especially when you look at other growth stocks. Now, I know Tesla's a little bit more developed than like Square and some stocks like these, for example, but it just goes to show that there's a lot of other stocks that are moving just a little bit better. And I think that Elon selling those shares is a little bit of a piece of bad news. But if it does break 200 in a big way, and we do see that SPY running, you could maybe switch to calls, but I would probably just trade a different stock up that might be moving a little bit more.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, cool. Another one I was watching is DOCU, and I actually talked about this one in Sunday's video. DOCU is extremely, extremely oversold. Right now, the stock is trading for like $53 a share, or $55 a share, and its all-time highs are right around $315 per share. It fell a ton over the past couple months, especially. It's not necessarily a play where I'm like, oh, I really want to buy and hold this right now. I'm not necessarily against that either, but I'm mainly looking at this for like a short-term run-up type of play. So, if tomorrow morning, or let's say on Thursday or Friday or something like that, something this week, if it starts to inch toward the high of day and this market itself is moving to the upside, DOCU will definitely be one of the first stocks I look to play to the upside.
Yeah, it definitely looks hot. It's had a very nice past few days. These are some pretty good moves that DocuSign has been having. So keep it on the radar. I know this one's extremely oversold, and it's even more oversold compared to a lot of other growth stocks. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a big one. And I really like these big candles that it's been having. Hopefully we can get back up towards maybe like 56 or maybe 57, even tomorrow if we get some really good movement. But my second stock, Mike, is actually going to be AMD. And it's another play to the downside. And I know a lot of people love AMD as well, but it's just like Tesla today. There's a big resistance up here around 77. End of day, we kind of rejected off of that. We also got pretty close to 80 today before coming down right around 79. And with the market kind of falling off the way it is, I will be looking for a small pullback on AMD. When I look at that daily chart, AMD has pretty much been straight up ever since it hit the 55 support on October 13th. So I'm going to really be watching for a pullback here. I don't think it's anything drastic. We might see something down to maybe 73, maybe $74 on it. So it might just be a couple points, but I do think that we will see a pullback. And my main reason is just because I feel like we will fall down with SPY. I really don't like how we are rejecting off 400. But obviously, if we move above 400 in the morning, that would be great if maybe Target could push us over that.
You know it. All right, Tom, well, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have SWBI to the upside.
SWBI, what a crazy play today. Smith & Wesson, make them break out above $12.25.
All right, sounds good. With the next one, we have CAT to the downside.
Caterpillar, yeah, I know we talked about this one being a little bit overextended yesterday and ended up falling down nicely. I would say make him break right below that low of day. There is support at 233, but I would make him fall below 232.75.
All right, and then with the last one, we have DAL also to the downside.
Delta Airlines, yeah, another big stock pulling back. I would make them break right below 34.45, right by that 34.50 support.
Sounds good. So we're watching DAL and CAT for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. And then we are watching SWBI for a potential day trade to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the level Tom listed. But Tom, it is now time for the $2.36 million trade to watch. We are looking at YMM. Yes, YMM. Like, we've never talked about this stock before. This ticker is interesting, to say the least. So YMM is actually a China-based stock, and it is a logistics company. When it comes to unusual options activity, the main edge is in the sense that the insiders know something that everyone else does not. A lot of times, the Chinese stocks are heavily manipulated, and that is actually a good thing when it comes to unusual options activity, because some insider might know that some big news is about to break, or that something good is about to happen, so they'll load up on calls before everyone knows, the stock pops, and then they make millions. So with YMM, basically today, some either hedge fund or insider at the company put $2.36 million into the $7.50 strike call options that expire on June 16th of 2023. These call options are right at the money and they have some time. For those of you who don't know how options work, the main thing you need to know is that someone's betting that the stock is going to rise, and they basically reserve the right to buy a ton of shares of this company at $7.50 each. Like I said, this is a China stock. From my experience, these types of stocks tend to do well when it comes to unusual options activity because they tend to be manipulated. So I actually kind of like this setup, and it's definitely going to be very close on my watch list going forward.
Yeah, me too, Mike. Like you said, it's a China stock. It's starting to move up. China's getting some really good news, and they've been doing pretty well with this G20 summit over the past couple of days. You know, this good news has been really helping out a lot of China stocks like BABA, JD, Baidu, stocks like that. Look at JD was up 7%. BABA was up 11%. So yeah, it's really cool to see YMM moving up like this as well. And it does look like there's even good support on the chart right around $5. So looking pretty good, Mike. You know what? This one's been down for a while, starting to consolidate. And I think some of this good news combined with this smart money might be exactly what we need to maybe give us some confidence to get in this one. You know, these China stocks have been running, but as we know, when they start to go on some uptrends, sometimes they can start to uptrend for months at a time.
Exactly. So it's definitely like a high risk type play, especially just given the nature of the market cap of the company, the type of company it is, and the option itself. I'm definitely considering taking this risk. The setup, like you said, Tom, there's a lot of good things working for it. So I'm really tempted to follow this one.
Yeah, and that's smart money. You just can't go wrong with it. You know, 2.362 million. I know yesterday we talked about some MGM calls. Now, I know this one did fall down in the middle of the day with that bad Russia news, but look at how well those calls were doing early on, Mike. MGM ran all the way up to 39.16, and it had quite the pop this morning. I know that these calls were a little bit longer out, but you know, for all of our day traders in here, they could have been watching for that big break above 38, and yeah, it could have ended up being a pretty good play today.
Yeah, no doubt. And like another thing, when it comes to these smart money plays, like you said, Tom, like these plays tend to have time. So it's not always that we're looking for the stock to pop the next day either. And I don't think the smart money is, but a lot of times they can have some pretty great short-term moves. So keep YMM on your watch list going forward. Looking at the market overall, Tom, it's been a pretty choppy week, but I think the volatility and the opportunities will definitely increase as the week goes on. I'm pretty excited overall. There's still a lot of great stocks at great levels, and we are seeing like big moves every single day. They're not always to the upside, but I feel like every single day I can look at my watch list and at least see a couple stocks that are up at least like 9 or 10%.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Today, it seemed like it was mainly those China stocks. Those are really at the top of my watch list. I noticed Unity has been on a crazy uptrend over the past couple of weeks, ever since earnings as well. And I know tomorrow we're going to have Target reporting, who's been on fire. So yeah, keep your eyes on these stocks tomorrow, like Target, TGT, LOW. Those are going to be very influential for the market. So keep your eyes on those guys. I know that I've even been watching gold a lot, Mike. That one's been actually holding up a little bit too. So great to see there. Market was very choppy, like you said, though, today, Mike. I know that choppy markets can be kind of hard to trade, but just try to find those good intraday setups. You know, like I know if you guys could have maybe caught some momentum down or something in the middle of the day, it could have ended up playing very, very well. Or even if you played a good support bounce back up, maybe that could have been the play. But there's always opportunities out there, and you know, you just got to take advantage of what the market gives you. And sometimes you just have to take the puts whenever that's the time to take them.
Yeah, you know it, 100%. I also want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, MOH, in the Stocked Up Discord. You've been in the chat for 2.5 years. Your activity has definitely been increasing over the past week or so. So definitely keep it up. Huge shout out to Mo or MOH. But Tom, do you have any final thoughts going into tomorrow?
Yeah, it's going to be a big day. I'm really watching that SPY, that $400 resistance or 399.50 is going to be pretty big for me tomorrow. I'm really going to watch it. If we end up bouncing off of this back to the downside, I will be pretty worried. Hopefully Target and some of Lowe's earnings help push us up even higher in pre-market, kind of like what Walmart did today for the market. So I do have some hope that we can go up tomorrow, but I will say that setup heading into close was not my favorite. So be on the lookout. We will be in Discord tomorrow morning, and hey, we're always posting those free day trades. Mike, I know some of those day trades today ended up being pretty fire too, especially the one on TLT. Mike, TLT was on fire this morning, and you guys could have got that play for free.
Let's go. So if you guys are looking for free day trades, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. But in these types of market environments, what a lot of people like to look at or resort to are stocks that don't move with the market. Check out this video on the screen right now. It goes over exactly what stocks Michael Burry is loading up on, and I promise you it'll blow your mind. Definitely check it out. It's a crazy video.